Hey guys, welcome back to another Glendemonium podcast. This is Glenn here, and this is my part two of what should I consider before moving to Arizona. I guess last video I kind of did a overview of what to expect in Arizona aside from the heat, what there is to do. And I guess I didn't go into too much detail. I kind of wanted to spread it out, keep the video as short as possible. So today's topic, I'm going to talk about the job market. Now, if you're coming from, say, a bigger metro area like L.A., New York, Denver, the only thing I can think of if you want to move into Arizona is you want to get away from the cold or the congested traffic. I know there are some hardcore right wing types. They're getting tired of California, and a lot of them tend to flock to Arizona. I wouldn't say Phoenix and Tucson are probably not going to be too right wing. I'd say they're about middle of the road. So it's red. Arizona's a red state overall, but like when I lived in Phoenix, there were a lot of people that actually didn't have that whole hardcore conservative church mentality. We're in upper parts of Arizona, like your Kingman, Bullhead, Havasu. They're definitely far leaning right, whereas Flagstaff, Sedona, it's more towards the left because Flagstaff has definitely got that whole like yuppie hippie culture out there. Although I mean, it is what it is. It's a mixed bag. It's actually what I kind of like. It's just diverse enough for people to get along. I'm getting a little off topic here. Jobs. Now, see, I'm not trying to say doom and gloom, but it highly depends on what you specialize in. As I mentioned in my last video, Arizona is big into our biggest industry right now is medical. So if you're a nurse, if you're a therapist, like physical therapist, occupational therapist, even maybe a speech therapist, a pharmacist, you're going to find work. A medical billing, because with all the old people, with all the sick people that we got here, somebody needs to get billed. We only have so much medical billers out there. You're going to find something, especially if you're a nurse. I don't think there's really any shortage of nursing. They're always building. They're not building hospitals, but they're always building doctors' offices. They're always building clinics, and a lot of nurses can branch out on their own and basically like do home care, home hospice. You're really consulting. That's a big one. I know a lot of ladies like the consulting jobs. Hopefully that didn't come off as sexist. It's just I've never seen a guy do a consulting job. But anyway, nursing is huge. We have a Mojave Community College campus that actually has an entire building catered towards nursing students. Like every year, I don't know how many they churn out every year, but it's not easy to pass. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And a lot of them will make you do CNA work. And that's another field. I mean, if you're CNA, you're because I know there are a lot of people who start out nursing and they get stuck in that whole CNA thing. You will get paid in a bigger city. You get paid better out in a bigger city, but just remember, CNA is like the minimum wage of nursing jobs, except like maybe they pay you like $2 over the minimum wage. Although right now with minimum wage hikes, a lot of companies have kind of halted that. They found a loophole. So, like a CNA, I think a CNA now probably makes just as much as somebody working at McDonald's. I'm not entirely 100% on that, but from what I've been hearing, that it's about the same. It didn't used to be because you also get shift differential working at night. If you want to work like graveyards, your usual 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's always an option. And that's another thing about working in the medical field. A lot of hospitals are going to make you. It's not a simple 9 to 5 job. Nursing has never always been a 9 to 5 job. You work random hours. Some places make you work 12 hours. It's not unheard of for hospitals to want to have you run 24 hours. I don't know if it's. I'm sure in some other states that might be illegal because your body needs sleep. The employer might try to say, "Well, so you're just gonna have to work 24 hours." No, if an employer tries to do that, just work somewhere else because your health is not worth. You cannot sacrifice your health for the company. I don't care how good they pay you. If they're going to try to go you and work in multiple 12-hour shifts or 24-hour shifts, and this is something that even doctors, like, it's not even unheard of for doctors to be working 24 hours. It's a crazy field. That's another reason why I can't get into nursing. I don't think I want to work, that many hours and stress myself out. That's just not my thing. Um, Other than that, let's see, sales. This is one of those where you don't really need a college degree, but you really have to sell. Um, because Arizona is like big on tourism, but at the same time, everybody wants to sell you something. Um, our cars actually. What's funny? Our car dealerships out here are probably more expensive than in Nevada. But of course, a lot of stuff's cheaper in Nevada because I don't think they have to deal with state tax. Here in Arizona, we've got a pretty sizable state tax. Um, a lot of our revenue comes from like college students, like a lot of cities, especially smaller cities. It's college students, travelers, visitors, snowbirds. You know, I wouldn't expect a whole lot of higher education unless you want to work in the main cities, Phoenix. Um, Tech jobs, you can find some IT work, you can find some programming work, but just for food for thought, they're not as plentiful as you would find in Texas, in Austin, Houston, and Dallas. They're not as plentiful as Utah. They're not as plentiful as in Denver. And a lot of Arizona employers are really, really picky. It's a right to work state, and a lot of employers kind of got in their head that, well, we only want the best of the best. We only want the best of the best, but we're not going to pay you for we are only going to pay you so much, but we feel we're entitled to the best. So you're going to see positions for like senior web developer, but you're only going to make like 50, $60,000 a year. But then you see that same listing with the same qualifications in Colorado for 90K or 80, maybe 70 to 80. You're in the upper echelon. Arizona, a lot of Arizona employers do not want to pay. Not I'm saying all of them. Most of them do not want to pay a competitive wage. It's just how it is out here. It's unfortunate, but this is why it's considered a red state. The state caters more towards the business side of things, more to the employers, more towards the landlords. Where like California, you're probably used to employers or employees getting the rights, but here in Arizona, it's the employers that call the shots. And yet, at the same time, they complain, we can't find any skilled work. Well, see, you got to make it worth their while. You got to give them a reason. I mean, if you're in a senior level, you might get relocation packages, but it's only in a senior level. I don't know any entry level people that kind of treatment. A lot of entry level work here pays maybe barely above minimum wage. You'd be lucky to make $20 an hour. I remember a friend of mine. He actually got a job in IT, and I think this is before minimum wage went up. It was like minimum wage is $8. He started out. He had an A+ Net Plus certification, and this was a friend I met over the internet, by the way, not a local guy. Um, he started out at 14.50 an hour. They promised him he'd start 19.50 because he's had about 3 years experience, and they pretty much shortchanged him the moment he got there. Now I don't know if he's still there now. We haven't kept contact in a while, but I remember he was not happy. He basically left a gig in Las Vegas to work for these guys, and they totally shortchanged him. So, the way jobs in Arizona do interviews here is it's like a three ring circus, and by three ring circus I mean they make you run through hoops to get this job. Like, don't be going through 3 4 interviews only to be turned down is not unheard of. Even if it's for a janitorial position, it's unheard of. Or it's not unheard of, excuse me. It is not unheard of to go through an interview where you do the interview 1, interview 2, interview 3, and then there's like, oh, and then you call them back because sometimes most employers here don't call you back. or they say, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, the position's been filled." So, employers in Arizona will waste your time because, like I said, they're picky. They're very picky. They're very choosy, and they feel a lot of employers feel that they are entitled to best friends. I'm not trying to scare you out of getting a job. I'm just giving you an idea what to expect when you apply for jobs in Arizona. The way some of them do here, like the job where I work at, we're looking for housekeepers, and it takes them almost a month to get hired because they have to go through all these screening processes that take weeks. A drug screening. Let's see, there was a drug screening. There was one interview. I have actually seen someone go through two interviews and a drug screening. It took them almost a month. They found another job after that point because no one's gonna. Here's the reality: nobody's gonna wait a month to get a job, especially if it's a low wage, crappy job. If they found something else, because people look, employees they want to get hired as quick as possible. So if one employer is just hem hawing around saying, I don't know, I'm just gonna give it a little while, and then they're like, how come they took that job somewhere else? Yeah, no, I'm getting frustrated just talking about it. I remember like when I was in Phoenix a few years ago, I went through three interviews to work as a janitor while I was in school. And after the second interview, I think it was two interviews. I went one interview in some printing press area, and the second view it was no, it's for the Arizona Republic. I remember. I went to one interview in the printing press, which is like in the outskirts of Phoenix somewhere, and then I also went to the main building for a second interview. It's like, oh, the position's been filled. Yeah, it was like, well, thanks for wasting my time. And that's the thing. The common courtesy with a lot of like employers don't exist. I mean, some will call you back. Those are good. The good companies will always call you back, or at least even if it's a rejection, that's professional. That's what you're supposed to do. A lot of employers, if they send you a rejection, at least it gives you closure. A lot of other places kind of expect you to be calling them and checking in, and even though because it just really depends. They say if you call in and keep asking about your interview, if people think that you want this, they want to get the impression that you want that job so badly, so that way if they do hire you, they're going to try to lowball you. Um, do not sell yourself short in the interview process. Do not sell yourself short. Know what you're worth when you're going in. Know what you're worth. I'm sure this probably applies to the other states, not just Arizona, but from what I've seen from my experience, you cannot afford to shortchange yourself. If an employer wants to only charge you so much an hour, negotiate, play hardball. I understand if you're desperate to get work, take what you can. And if that's the case, take what you can, work for them for a little bit, but then take offers elsewhere. Because see, once you're already employed, you're keep your resume updated. If you see somebody that's employed in that field, you might, especially on LinkedIn, you can get people to start coming after you. Like especially like with programmers right now, like because the more senior level you are, the more people will come and offer you and entice you to come work for them. Look, see, it won't exist for entry level because entry level you're at the mercy of the employer. But once you gain valuable experience, you're gonna see a change. But that's only if you keep your profile updated. So if you don't have a LinkedIn account, get one. Just get one because networking is very important. Um, Especially here in Arizona, where a lot of places here, it's kind of it's more who you know, and then experience second, and then education is further third. Networking is huge. Nepotism is actually I would say I would say nepotism, networking, work experience, and then education because where I work at, nepotism is kind of a big deal. A lot of family owned businesses hire within the family for the upper management stuff. That's not always true, but they usually seek them out first, and then they look for somebody who's within, like a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, you know. And I mean, it's not just Arizona, but I'm just saying this is a survival guide for Arizona. Um, I'd say you could probably apply this to any other state. You know, you network, start networking. If you haven't networked, and I understand, I went to an online school, biggest mistake of my life. It was hard to network after that. Um, it's still hard to network now because I know a lot of people. It's a dog eat dog world out here. A lot of people kind of seem to like just kind of do their own thing. They don't want to help each other out. Um, I'm not saying hook me up with a job, bro. I'm not like that. But it's like growing a professional network after a certain point is tough. It is very tough. Like you have to do it early on. That's why I encourage people to go to a state college, go to a brick and mortar school. If you have to go to college, I'm not encouraging you to go to college and blow your money away, put yourself in debt. I'm just saying this is the best way to start a network. I didn't do that. Don't make the mistake I did. Network as early as you can. If you know somebody, because a lot of times, even if you're under experienced, if somebody vouches for you, you have a better chance of getting a job than somebody with a degree, and he's probably got more work experience. Because a lot of companies don't like to gamble on a total stranger. As stupid as that sounds, they don't want to gamble on a total stranger, which I disagree with, but that's life. Um, okay, I'm gonna go back to the job market thing. I've covered nursing. Um, I did a little bit of tech. Um, I'm not really knowledgeable on engineering. I'd imagine there might be a need for engineering, but it's probably more agricultural, um, maybe electrical engineering, because I know there's always a lot of construction going on. They're going to need constructive engineers, chemical engineers. Mm, I think chemical engineering not so much, unless we have like a big oil boom or something. Or I mean, because we have a lot of old people, a lot of medications. A lot of medications get passed. I mean, pharmacies make bank here in Arizona because of all the retirees coming here. A lot of them are on pills. Um, I'm sure. I mean, some if you work Walgreens, I'm not talking about like Walgreens. I'm talking about an actual pharmacist, an actual pharmacy, not just CVS, Walgreens, because those pharmacists don't make good money there. That's like entry level stuff. You only make like 15, $60 an hour, but then you got to try to branch out from there. Otherwise, you end up working there for a long time. Um, let's see, mechanical engineering will probably do well in Arizona. We have an engineering plant out here that's hurting for engineers. Although I think they need more like machinists than actual engineers. And I think trade jobs here in Arizona will probably do a lot better because like it's the funny thing about red states is trade jobs are needed, but at the same time they don't pay as good. Most trade jobs don't usually pay as well unless you work as a contractor or a manager. But see, a lot of people don't tell you that. They just say, "Well, you should be an electrician." Okay, but how long do you have to work as an electrician to start making that good money? Because see, somebody can just go to school or get a 9 to 5 and make more than starting a line electrician. I mean, yeah, you can make. It depends on who you work for. You can make good money. Electricians, plumbers. Um, going back to the engineers. I think mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and agricultural engineering. I think that's a thing because there's a lot of farmlands out here. So Phoenix has a lot of farmlands. Um, there is a use for engineers. Not as much as say California or somewhere where there's a big industry that requires it. And let's see what else I can get into here. Other than that, I can say advanced degrees, you might find some kind of struggle. You might be better off going to somewhere like really research Arizona before you even consider getting a job. Compare your salary. Know what you're worth. A lot of places out here will try to shortchange you. If you like, say if the median, like if you had a career, a median salary is 60,000. Arizona will probably pay you 5 to 10K less than that sometimes, unless you're senior. They only pay that if you're senior level. Um, Arizona's got a lot of low wage jobs. Their job growth is kind of stagnant, but Arizona's got a lot of call centers. I lived in Phoenix for a while, and I recall a lot of the job offers when I was in school. You're supposed to work to go while you're going to school. Um, a lot of them were call centers, and these are like telemarketing call centers because telemarketing was a big deal. And telemarketing, collections. It sucks. It just sucks. Trucking. If you have a CDL license, I'm going to be honest with you. Go somewhere else. You're not going to get good wages out in Arizona. You could you go to Texas, go to Utah. I mean, but if you want to be a trucker, okay, get your CDL, get some experience here. You're not going to make good money. You're probably going to work longer hours. But get a year or two under your belt if you can last that long, and then get out. I mean it. I seriously mean it. Get out. I have a brother-in-law who did this. He became a truck driver. He would learn. We would work long, erratic hours, and they're supposed to charge you by the mile. But a lot of Arizona trucking companies have loopholes around that. I think he worked for Werner. Worked for Werner. Um, they weren't paying him very well. Them and yeah, you have to go through school. You have to go through school, and then it's like usually $8,000 to $10,000 to get a CDL, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe less than that. I don't know. Um, yeah, I think it cost him upwards almost 10 grand, almost. Um, but if you want to be on the road, that's the way to do it. Get your experience, and then use that experience to work for someone else that will pay you better, and that will respect your work life balance. And I know, and the thing is, Arizona, a lot of Arizona jobs do not respect work life balance. I've noticed that with a lot of jobs, nursing especially medical. Because, like I said, we're a right to work state. More well, a right to work is basically not the right way to say it. It's more like employers have the right to pay you whatever they feel like for work. That's what it really is. Um, it's unfortunate. There are people who like living here. I don't mind living here. I'm because California's gotten crazy expensive, especially in LA and San Diego. But I worry that. Well, actually, no. I'm going to say that for another episode because I could talk about real estate. That'd be good for part three. Okay, so let me go back here. A lot of you've heard the old adage of like when Obama added jobs, it was mostly minimum wage jobs. It's not entirely his fault. It's not entirely. That was just people blaming Obama for everything because that was like a cool thing to do with all the Republicans. It's all Obama's fault. It's all Obama's fault. But what it really is, it's the city's fault. It's the state's fault because a lot of the smaller cities in Arizona, they complain every now and then about they can't find skilled labor for their work. Well, the reason is because you won't let these businesses build. They will not let these businesses build, especially in the smaller cities. They are the big reason. They still think that they can still make revenue from tourism, from college students. They want revenue from outside sources. They don't want big businesses because a lot of the chains that we have now are owned by some of the more predominant members of the communities. Maybe I'm speaking just for Kingman and maybe Bullhead and Havasu, but from what I've seen, we it took a long time for Home Depot to be built here because the guys that own True Value, he's one of the richest men in town. He lobbied and lobbied and lobbied for years. Protests got signatures. He did not want Home Depot to be built. He contested it over and over and over. He finally lost, and I remember the blowback. That guy was having a nervous breakdown at the store because I used to do maintenance. I used to go there, and his face was pale. He thought he was going to lose his money. He's still there. He's still there this year, but a lot of these towns in Arizona do not like growth. They don't care about the people. They don't want growth. They don't want to lose. They don't want competition. Because then the big businesses will have all the incentives to get good skilled employees. Instead, like we were going to have a Costco here in Kingman, and I think that either got put on hold or got scrapped. And from what I heard, Costco is one of the greatest employers in America. They treat their employees right. Basically, Costco is the anti-Walmart, the anti-Sam's Club, where Walmart, they treat their employees like cattle. Costco actually respects that. So I'm not surprised we're not going to get that. Um, I know it's hyperbole. Where was I at? Oh yeah. Um, But a lot, and even in Phoenix, like there are big businesses in Phoenix, but Arizona caters to the business owners. It caters more towards the business owners, and so whenever a big business wants to build something here, they're going to be the first out there to go. No, no, they're going to vote. They're going to vote people in that are against that stuff because it's a lot easier to keep the poor in check and not giving them much hope. It's easier to keep poor people in check than to give them a fighting chance at life. And the thing is, most Arizona residents don't want to leave; they want to stay. But if they can't find good paying jobs and they have the means to get a good paying job, they're going to go elsewhere. Because at some point they're going to realize they can't save money. They might be in debt. They're just going to pack up whatever they can and just move. And it's a shame. I'm saying it's not all negative, and I know this video is coming off as incredibly negative. But I've been here for 30 years. I've seen enough to give me a good experience. Maybe it's a negative experience. If I picked a different field, maybe if I went into medical somehow, I don't know what I could have been. Maybe a physical therapist. I might have had a different perspective. I chose technology, and now I'm still living in Arizona. I see that's a very big mistake. The technology is not as big as in Arizona that it is in other areas. Problem is, now I can't move to other areas. Right now, at least not right now, unless I pick up a side hustle that makes me more than my current paying job. It is what it is. I've even known engineers that are struggling to find work. That tells you something. You're encouraged to go into STEM, get a STEM degree. Okay, well, the people who study science struggle to find work, technology, engineering, even math. But the thing is, Arizona's a good state if you have the right profession for it. That means if it's mostly medical sales because sales can make a killing in Arizona. A lot of salesmen. I don't know. Even the smaller cities, these salesmen come and they're always trying to sell their products. And I know they get commission, but those commissions get huge. Another profession that can actually survive well in Arizona is real estate. Um, I'll go into detail in my next video about what to expect when you're looking for a house or apartment. But as for the job itself, real estate can make a killing, at least theoretically. When the housing market picked up, so did the rent. Housing. But 2008 was a good time to buy a house. Now it's a good time to sell a house. And there are a lot of agents out there who are eager to help sell your house. Eager, very eager. Now, of course, I'm speaking to the side of the customer. You better be careful because some of those agents will take a very fat cut from that house. So be careful. But that's why they make a killing because sometimes the sellers don't look on a dotted line. They just want to sell the house and be done with it. So, so you just got to be careful. But real estate agents can make a killing. It's just all about how much you sell. Although reality is not all real estate agents can sell. Like I think some agents can only sell maybe 3 houses a year. It's a cutthroat industry. It really is. But it's one of the few industries I've seen in Arizona that people can make a fair good living out of it. Although I guess it goes back to sales because anybody can do sales. It's one of the you don't really need a college degree, but you got to be very motivated, and you probably have to douse that little voice in your head that tells you don't do it, it's wrong, don't lie to people, because you might be encouraged to lie to sell. But that's sales. Marketing is not as big, which is a shame. I think marketing is going to be one of those up and coming fields. Like now everybody and their mom's a programmer. So now there's a glut of junior level programmers out there that can't find work. But now you're starting to hear digital marketing and social media marketing and marketing. That's going to be like the next hot job. I don't know if considering that Arizona wants to cater towards tourists, you would think that would be a kind of a field that would just start to explode here in Arizona, but I don't know. There's like a lot of anti-tech in Arizona. Like there are businesses here where I live that don't even want to do social media. I don't know what to make about that. But okay, well I'm gonna do a closing argument because I'm closing in on half hour, I think. Yep. Arizona. If you're looking for a job, and you don't know where to. I mean, if you're just moving to find a job, I would say limit yourself to Phoenix or Tucson. I'm only saying this because this is where the good paying job offers are. Anywhere else in Arizona, you're looking at isolated small town, unless you want to live in a small town. But I'm telling you, a lot of the small towns in Arizona do not pay very well. Um, like, let's say if you're a nursing home administrator and you want to go to Bullhead, you're not going to make much money compared to what you will in Phoenix. I'm just saying. You get paid more in a bigger city. Um, and if you can deal with the heat, triple digit weather for 5 months out of the year, 4 to 5 months out of the year, Phoenix and Tucson. Tucson's actually somewhat smaller. Phoenix is probably your best bet. Scottsdale is a beautiful area. Scottsdale, Mesa, I think Mesa's more the college area. Scottsdale and Prescott. If you're in a nursing profession, you're gonna make a killing down there. You're gonna do fine. You're gonna do okay. There's always gonna be jobs. Um, there's always gonna be jobs if you're in nursing. If you're in sales, it's not bad. If you're a truck driver, it really highly depends on who you work for. I would say just if you have to be a truck driver here in Arizona, just work there for a year or two and quit because those some of those places will work you to death. It's it's just how a lot of these places operate. Um, if you don't have a specialized degree, you're probably looking at a future of retail, fast food, call centers, that kind of thing. Um, I would suggest try to find a way to get higher education. Try to get certified in something that you're good at, because Arizona is a state where you have to specialize. Otherwise, you're gonna have a very hard time finding work. Um, we have a lot of illegal aliens, a lot of college students, and then we have the populace who just don't have a college degree fighting for all those low wage jobs. I would specialize in something before ever considering moving there or moving here. All right. Well, that video was a lot longer than I anticipated. It's like 32 minutes. Holy crap. If you've listened this long, thank you. I don't know how you can put up the sound of my annoying voice, but I am very grateful for it. If you want to hear more, leave a like, leave a comment. I'm always willing to engage in comments. I don't care if it's negative. You know, it's the internet. Positive ones is fine. Tell me how being negative. Correct me on a few things, because trust me, I want this channel to be a learning channel. If I've made a mistake somewhere, just tell me. Let me know. Point stuff out. Then maybe I can make a video of, okay, I messed up on this, and this, and I want to correct it, because I always want to make sure I'm giving the viewers the right information. Because right now I'm speaking. I guess I can admit that I'm speaking with a bit of a bias, because like I said, I've been here for 30 years, but I've seen what I've seen from my perspective. Other people's perspectives are going to obviously be different, and it made people have a more positive experience than I did. And that's great. Um, anyway, I'm going to end this video now. Like, fav, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Glenmonium. It's really just type in Glenmonium Twitter. You'll find me there. And stay tuned for part 3, where I talk about housing and rentals in Arizona. All right. Till then, everyone, take care and see you soon.